Elimelech's wives, even though his own Sarah was barren. We can learn from the tzaddik how to live. Pray that others have what you want. Kill the evil eye.
Welcome. Today we are doing our directed Hebrew immersion in Exodus chapter 32, verse 15. First, I want to just say a real quick prayer. Avinu Malkeinu, Modeim Anachnu Lefanecha, Ki Anachnu Yochalim Lilmod Et Divrecha, Et Toratecha. Ta'azerna Abba Et Kol Talmidai Lilmod Tov Be'einecha. All right. There will be occasional brief moments of silence, just as I mute the microphone to protect you from coughing and other types of not fun to listen to noises. Don't worry, it's nothing wrong with the audio. It's just your ear defense being employed. All right, so let's get started. I will scan first Exodus 32, verse 15. The ta'amim, the trope, they're kind of in this glowing fuchsia type color, so you set them apart from vowel markers and such, so there won't be a confusion. And I've color-coded it kind of to the max for our visual learners today. Since this is the Torah, I will be explaining things at a much higher level than I usually do. If that's not for you and you don't like to hear all the explanations, then you might want to instead check out tomorrow's class from the Prophets and First Kings, which is a accelerated speed with fewer explanations. But review's good, so if you want to just keep working through both classes, feel welcome to do that. Special thanks to my patrons. You guys are the ones that make all of this possible. I really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get started. Exodus chapter 32, verse 15. Vayifen, vayered, Moshe min ha'har, ushenei, luchot ha'edot beyado, luchot ketuvim, mishnei avrehem, mizeh umizeh, hem ketuvim. All right. I'm going to give you just a sec to look at that. Try to pick it apart as you can. And then in about 20 seconds, we will continue. My drink today is not really a drink. The local grocery store had a wonderful sale on frozen blueberries. Just incredible, like about $2 per 500 grams. So like $2 a pound. So I'm having frozen blueberries with just a little bit of milk poured in. That's kind of mostly frozen in between them. What a blessing. So wonderful. Anyway, nice. So, let's break apart this verse. Vayifen. Now this is the verb pane. Pei, noon, hey. And the hey has gone away. This happens quite frequently. Let me see if I can. Pei, noon, hey. So we have the pei, we have the noon, but the hey has gone away. This is called a lamed hey verb. Lamed, Hey verb. Lamed, have like that little hyphen there. Hey. The reason it's called Lamed Hey is because the rabbinical system for diktuk, for grammar, assigns 3 letters to the different positions of the verb. I'm going to draw it close to the bottom now. I think it will be clearer here. So the first position is called Pei. Christian grammars will use a Roman numeral 1 for that. The second position is Ayin. Christian grammars will use a Roman numeral 2. And the third position is Lamed. Christian grammars will use Roman numeral 3 for the Lamed. What the Pei and the Ayin and the Lamed, or the 1 and the 2 and the 3 are, these are indices into the verb. So for the verb that we are talking about, I'm just going to change the color. This does not map to our legend, okay? Because I'm having trouble with my device that lets me select special colors. I'm forced to use the PowerPoint colors available, right? So it's just coincidence that the verb starts with pay, okay? The pay, noon, hey. Pay, noon, hey. So what this means is, in our particular example, the letter which is in the pay position in the Pa'al index, or the Roman numeral 1 position, just happens to be pay. That's this guy, pay, okay? The letter that's in the second position, or the Ayin index, is noon. And the letter that's in the third position, or the Lamed position, is hey. That is why we call this a Lamed hey verb, because the Lamed position, third position, hey. Christian grammars will oftentimes call it a third position, hey. We're not so fond of Rome, so we don't use the Roman numerals in the Jewish diktuk. These mean the same thing. Oops, sorry. These mean the same thing. Okay? So, in Lamed Hey verbs, that is, where the Lamed position is a Hey, right? Pei, Ayin, Lamed. Lamed position is a Hey. Oftentimes the Hey will go away. That's why, in this particular verb, we have it written Vayifen, right? Instead of Vayifane or something like this. Okay? So this is a pretty common word. It's a good word for you to know. Pana or pane is to turn. To turn. All right? So, Yi Fen, the yod here means he will turn. But then we have the special vav conversive. Dun da da da. That's this guy. Dun da da da. He changes the aspect. Vayifen means and he turned. Vayered, and he descended. He went down. Moshe. Okay? Or then Moshe, that's the subject, he yifen, he turned, and he yered, he went down, he yaraded, went down. Min, from, ha, the mountain. U, and, construct chain, a pretty big one coming up. Da, shenei, da, luchot, ha'irut. Okay? So shenei, this is construct from shenayim, which is 2. So 2 of, and 2 of luchot, tablets of. In fact, a blackboard today, right, like a whiteboard that a teacher might write on, is called a luach. That's the singular of this word of luchot. So ushenei luchot, and 2 of luchot, tablets of ha'idut. Ha is the, right, that's our definiteness. The idut, testimonies. An aid is a testimony or a witness. Idut, like the book of Revelation says in the Jewish Greek, that there's a particular class of people whom the beast will make war with. Right? Who is that? Well, it tells us that it's the ones who have those who keep the entolen trutheu, the law of God, so the Torah keepers, the Shomrei Mitzvot, and the Eidut Jesus, right? The Martyria Jesus, it says in the Greek, the Eidut Yeshua, the testimonies of Yeshua. The people who fit that cross section in the Venn diagram, they keep the Torah and they also keep the testimony of the Messiah. Those are the ones whom the beast will make war on against them. So if you're a regular SP Christian from whatever denomination, you have the Eidut Yeshua, right? You have the testimony of the Messiah. But don't worry, the beast won't make war on you because you're not the Shomer Mitzvot, right? You're not keeping the law, right? Not keeping the law. And if you're an Orthodox Jew who's keeping the law, but you don't have the testimony of the Messiah, don't worry, the beast is not going to make war on you because you're only in one of those circles from the Venn. But if you keep the Torah and you acknowledge the messiahship of Yeshua HaNotzri, danger, be ready. You are enemy number one to the spiritual darkness. All right, let's read that again. Vayifen, then he paned, he turned. Vayered, and he yarad, he went down, he descended. Moshe. That's the subject of both of these verbs, is Moshe, Moses. In other lessons, I explained how his name is an Egyptian name and how to get all that stuff. So, Min, from Ha, the Ha, Hey Reish, the mountain. U, and the Shenei, the Luchot Ha'edut. Now, because that last word in the chain is definite, it will impart its definiteness to all the words in the construct chain. What that means is we try to translate the. If it sounds right in English. If not, you can leave it out. Right? What happens? We have a construct chain. This word's in the construct. Shanayim became Shenei. Luchot is in the construct. And then the last word in the chain, we call it the absolute. This one's definite. It has ha, the on it. So that the-ness will be imparted to the other parts of the construct chain. So when we translate u and the Shenei, two of the tablets of the Eidut testimony. Clean it up so it sounds good in English. The two tablets of the testimony. And now, this is where Hebrew doesn't always express to be when we would expect it to be expressed in English. So here we need to add in were, even though it's not in the text, be, yad, oh, be. That is our preposition. In, yad, the hand of him, beyado, in his hand. Beyado. Just kidding, I changed the word. It's meyavo. Okay, so that's our nachta. That shows this is like a semicolon, right? That little wishbone guy tells you this is like a semicolon in English. So in the Talmud, in Tractate Sofrim, it teaches us that the nachta, he owns all the words before him. So all those other words that come before him, the nachta owns. You can think of it like that. All right, continuing. Luchot, okay, tablets, ketuvim. So this is from the verb katav, kaf, tav, beit, which is to write. And you don't have to know this, but this is what we call a passive participle. So you might have seen the singular form of this before, right? Like, kol hadavarim ha'ele, all these things, halohem, are not they? Chetuvim besefer divrei hayamim, are not they written? All right, or the Siddur might talk about katuv, as katuv is written, besefer haTorah, in the scroll of the Torah, right? So ketuvim is a passive. If it was active, it'd be kotuvim, but ketuvim, like the part of the Bible called the Chetuvim, right? We have the Torah and the Nevi'im, the prophets, the law, the prophets, and the Chetuvim, the writings, right? Same word. So, luchot, tablets, Ketuvim, written or inscribed. Mish. Now this mi, I've colorized it for you. It's the word min, so I don't know how we got the red dot there. That was accidental. It's mi. Min became mi, and the nun assimilated into the sheen. That's why there's a dot there. I've color-coded it, kind of a glowing orange dagesh. So min became mish. So mish from construct chain. Shenayim became shenay. Two of Ravrehem. Ravrehem. So that last word's a little bit more difficult to pick apart the meaning. The base word is Aiver. Ayin ve reish. Aiver. Like from the verb avar, to cross over, right? So in Aiver, it's the other side. The other side, right? So min shenei or mish shenei from two of Avrehem, the sides of them. You understand? So it's saying ketuvim, inscribed or written upon, mi from shenei Avrehem, the two sides of them. So it means that the tablets were inscribed on both sides. And then the Torah further elucidates mizeh. So again, that is min, as I've written, and the nun is the dagesh and the zayin. Min zeh became miz-zeh with two zayins. The nun changed into a zayin. Mizeh from this, and mizeh, min zeh, and from this. Okay, from this side to that side. Haim, that's haimim. They, once again, we have to imply were ketuvim, written upon or inscribed. How'd you do? Let's go through it one more time. This time you try to translate before I do. Vayifen, vayered Moshe. Then he turned and descended. Then Moshe paned, he turned and he yaraded, he descended. Min ha, min, from ha, the ha, mountain. And the shenei, the luchot ha'edut. So the two tablets of the edut, of the testimony, like the witnessing, beyad o, be, in the yad of o, in the hand of him. Luchot, tablets, ketuvim, inscribed or written. Me, it's actually min, became mish, from the shenei avrehem, the two of their sides. Mizeh, that's min zeh, became mizeh, from this, mizeh, or min zeh, and from this, haim, they were ketuvim, inscribed. Now I'll just read it one more time normally, without the tones and such, and you just do the best you can. Vayifen vayered Moshe min hahar, ushene luchot ha'edut beyado, luchot ketuvim mishene avrehem, mizeh umizeh, haim ketuvim. Hope you did all right on that. So, thank you so much for watching and for learning. This concludes the first part of today's class. The next part will be over on Patreon as we do the next verse, maybe the next two verses. I will continue the teaching, and you are more than welcome to join us. And even if you don't have money if you can't contribute to help what we're doing here, look, it's not about money. But I have to make a living in order to keep teaching like this, okay? So I hope you understand. If it was up to me, we'd have all the funds we need, and I could just make everything free. That'd be lovely. If ever there's a grant or something like that, we can certainly do that. But I got to do what I got to do. So there are a lot of teachings over there that are for free as well. So there's some extra stuff over there on my Patreon. So even if you sign up for free, it's greatly appreciated. I'd love to hear from you guys over there. This lesson will continue over there. And I will catch you tomorrow, if you don't make it, as we continue with First Kings. Thank you so much for your support. Please pray for what we're doing here. Have a blessed rest of your day. Sit tight if you're part of the Patreon group. The lesson will now continue. We will continue. This is the end of part 1 from a 2-part video. This video was proudly Israeli made and edited. Am Yisrael Chai, Od Avinu Chai. Tikkun Olam, repair the world. Do your part to reduce suffering among humans and animals. Shalom.